All right, welcome back. Journey of an Entrepreneur, episode 4, Building Dreams After Hours, Beyond the 9 to 5. I got here with me co-host, co-founder, Carlin Humphrey.
Woohoo! What's going on, man? How you
All
feeling?
right. All right, so this episode are for those who are grinding a full-time job and try to build a dream, a side business, a hustle. And so we're going to dive right into it. First, we're going to break it down into 3 parts. We're going to go into time management, and we're going to go into motivation and then progress. And so we'll start with time management first. So, Carlin, how do you manage time working full time and working on the business essentially full time?
Woo, yeah, it is not for the faint of heart. I will tell you that. When you are full-time worker, right? You have the 9 to 5, or even for my case, it's 8 to 5. You are exhausted after work, right? I think that's speaking for every single person that has a full-time job. And to be able to turn off your work mentality and then put on your entrepreneurship hat, it's difficult, right? Your brain is only able to really function at 100% capacity, a certain amount of hours, right? And throughout the day, you get worn down from meetings, from talking to various people, actually completing projects and stuff like that. As a consultant, I go through that every single day where I have meetings and I talk to different clients and then turning it off at the end of the day and then having to force myself to get back to the grind of owning a business. Yeah, it can burn you out. It can be tiring, but there are ways to cope with that. I think the biggest thing for me is putting it all into perspective. Your time, right? You can spend 100 hours a week working on your business and you still won't get anywhere if you're not working on the right things and you're not prioritizing your time effectively, right? So you want to make sure that with the little time that you do have, outside of work, that you're using it towards stuff that is moving your business forward in a productive manner, and also just being, as efficient as possible with your time. So if you've got a work item that you need to complete, say for instance, you have a feature on the app that isn't working properly, it's a big deal, and you need to complete it, right? Well, that is important and urgent, which you need to get on as soon as possible. And other stuff, like say you love to do marketing and you want to make different advertisements, stuff like that. That's cool, but when you've got something that you need to be fixed ASAP and that's hindering you at the time, you need to put like all the rest of your energy that you do have after work. You need to put it on that particular project. If you focus on the wrong things, you're gonna end up wasting your time, that the little time that you do have, and it's gonna just make things a lot slower and improving your business.
Yeah. And time management is very important because I work full time, 8 to 4:30, and
Oh,
I'm also a full time doctoral student and working on the business full time. So juggling that is very hard. I have to wake up very early, 5 a.m., 5:30 to get my day going. Making sure I'm taking care of myself too, like working out, things like that. It's tough, but you have to have that drive and understand the urgency and level of things you have to do. Like if it's at work or for me, school, you have to see what's due at a certain time. Can I delay this and do this instead? I like to do stuff a little bit differently. I take out the easy stuff first, so I get those out the way, then I focus on the big hard task, because when you focus on the big task, then you use all your energy, all your bandwidth, and then you're kind of you may get stuck and then you're like, "Oh, well, I got all these other things to do." So I focus on the things that are easier and doing that. So Carlin, got anything to
Yeah.
add to that?
Oh, yeah, you are right. I mean, sometimes it can feel overwhelming to try to tackle the huge, problems first. Sometimes it's good to just get easy wins, to get into a rhythm and get your brain flowing and, be able to check something off, and that helps you build the confidence to go into those harder to get to tasks. And so, yeah, that is a great point. And another thing is that there's different tactics that you can use, right? So for instance, even on our Dash Wellness app with our mental health program, one of the things we have is for time management. It's called the Eisenhower Matrix, right? And it's basically it points to different quadrants of task or task types. So for instance, quadrant one is tasks that are important and urgent. So those are going to be the ones that you're going to want to actively work on to try to get done. Whereas you have, stuff like in quadrant four, where it's not urgent and not important, those necessarily you don't need to worry about, at the time being, if you have tasks within those quadrant one sections. So you could do that. I personally love using to-do lists. I am a huge list person. I've got a list for everything. I've got, work list. I got, dash wellness business list. I even have eight, grocery list, shopping, Amazon list, everything in between that you could think of. And I just keep them all in one section on my phone in an app. And I just make sure that, I'm, actively tracking on my list, making sure like, hey, okay, what in my list is due soon, right? I'll set a reminder for myself to do those list items that are due in the near future. And yeah, it just helps you stay organized because there's 1,000 things that go on at work, and there's 10,000 things that go on with the business, right? And if you're trying to keep it all in your head, it can feel overwhelming when you're thinking in your mind, like, oh, wait, I totally forgot to do this. And oh, but I still need to do that. Like, yeah, it can get frustrating, and you can get worn down from it. So it's really good tactic, that I use is just to write things down, and it helps put everything into perspective. And it shows like, okay, well, I have really six things that I need to get done. I'm going to knock out as many of those things as possible. And it helps build again that mental confidence to, keep going, and it helps you make sure that you're not missing anything as well.
Yeah. See, me and Carlin are different. See, I don't write much down. So I keep the list in my head. I'm like, okay, these are the things I have to do. And if I miss those, I know I'm in trouble. So
It's
yeah,
different for
yeah.
everybody. Yeah.
It just depends how you are. I probably need to start writing things down because the more stuff you have, the more you'll miss something. So it just depends on how you do, how your preferences and things like that. So the next point is motivation. Now, motivation is very important in business. It is important because you have to find your why on why you're doing stuff because business is tough. It really is for a select few, but I do believe everyone can start a business, but you have to have your why and discipline and things like that. So we're gonna let Carlin talk about motivation. What's his motivation, and how does that help you push through tough and hard times?
Oh yeah. I mean, you have to be motivated. I mean, there's no way you can, run a successful business and not have, that burning desire to, succeed. For myself, I've always wanted to be a business owner. Even when I was a little kid, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to have something that was mine. And when you start off with a business idea, right? It's just an idea, and the way that what helps me stay motivated is, as I keep going through in the business and I see, how how far we've gotten from where we are right now. It's like, okay, I want to keep going. I want to finish this journey. So as your whatever your idea is, as it develops and develops, I think you gain motivation from that. But even aside from just, just the daily grind of motivation, whatever your business is, make sure that you're passionate about that particular subject. It is going to be hard to stay motivated if it's something that you're not even really into, right? Like it's going to feel like a job. It's going to feel like another job. So you've got to really enjoy the things that you're doing. Like, Taekwondo, I know, is really big on fitness. Like we both played sports. Tyquon was a college athlete, and so obviously, fitness is an important part for him, and for myself as well, and also from the mental health side. I mean, I'm really big into mental health, and I understand how important it is and how little that we're taught. Even as kids and stuff, we don't really teach that in school, and so I know how important, how impactful that having great mental health can be on a person. So I want to be able to basically spread that message to multiple people to help others that may be dealing with mental health issues. So that's just part of another part of motivation for myself. But yeah, whatever your motivation is, just make sure that you remind yourself too of why you're doing it. Like every day, I have on my phone also. I have reminder statements that I read, every day or every other day, and it really helps me just stay focused on why I'm doing what I'm doing. So whatever it is, just make sure that you love the subject that you're starting your business on, and make sure that you keep moving forward, and your motivations will grow further and further. So.
Yeah. Yeah, my motivation is what drives me in everything I do. So, I grew up in a single parent household and and my mom was a small business owner, scraping together chains to get groceries and things like that. So, my motivation is, you know, building a better life for my family, and the generations to come, and also helping others in their path to create that as well. You know, me and Karlin being young black men, most of the time is just you gotta be an athlete or a rapper or things like that. Karlin grew up in a little different situation than me. His parents, went to college and they kind of exposed him to different stuff, but that's not like collectively what a lot of people black young black men go through. So, going through life trying to figure out what can I do when sports doesn't work, and falling into business and seeing, oh, there's a different path moving forward. So how do I use this path to create a better life for my family, myself, and the community around me? So that's what my motivation is. That's why I'm getting my doctorates. That's why I'm starting a business, and a business that can help potentially thousands, if not millions. So you got to find your why. What drives you when you're tired, when you don't want to do more? I wake up every Saturday morning after working on full time on my job and then my business and then my doctoral studies. Wake up on the weekends early to work on a dream that will change my life, my family's life, my friends' life, because it only takes one idea, one concept, one move that can shift your whole entire reality. So that's what we're working on. I know Carlin wakes up on Saturday. We grinding, we're doing it. So, you
And
know,
he knows how much I hate waking up early on Saturday, but I still do it because you're motivated, to do well. I mean, when we've done it for so long now, and yeah, it's just you got to do it, so you do it. So
yeah. All right. So the next point is progress, small steps. Carlin talked a little bit about this, the progress, small steps, but we're going to dive a little bit more into it. So, Carlin, how does progress and small steps work in
yeah.
business? Like,
Yeah. So one thing about progress, right? I think most people, they have the illusion that it's just going to be linear straight to the top, right? It's it's going to be easy, but in reality, you're going to get it's like this. It's like this. Progress is never just you're always going to succeed, and you're gonna fail. You're gonna fail. You're gonna be walk. I think of it as a staircase, right? You're gonna climb up the stairs, and you're gonna get pushed, and you're gonna fall down a couple flights, right? But ultimately, it's about making sure that when you get up, you keep progressing. You may fall down a little, but when you get back up, you keep going higher and higher, and you're not getting knocked further and further down, right? So it's kind of that proverbial 2 steps forward, 1 step back when it comes to business. And yeah, it's going to be difficult at times. You're going to face hurdles. I mean, Ty, how many times have we gone through with the business and we hit a road stop, and we're like, how are we going to fix this? We don't know the solution. And not knowing is a terrible feeling, because it's like, is that it? Is it like, is the idea done? But take it from us, we have found, there's always a way out. There is always an escape route out. There's always a different route that you can take. And so never give up because you face a roadblock. Don't let that stop your progress. Just keep working, keep researching, keep talking to people, trying to find different solutions, because the solution is out there if you're willing to go out and get it. So yeah, definitely just make sure that whenever you're in the business, keep things in perspective. When you have a failure, don't let that define your business. Just keep moving forward, and eventually you will make it to the top of the stairs. So
Yeah. And when I think of progress, don't don't just think of progress in terms of business success, right? Progress, you have to, you can be the progress, right? Because what separates the very rich from the poor, right? Of course, some may be born rich, but what separates the ones that were born poor and made their way to riches, right? Everyone, there's one key thing. Everyone has the same amount of hours in the day, right? 24 hours. How do we spend it? For me personally, I've shifted my focus on becoming the person that is able to own a business that can help millions, right? You have to become the person, and that doesn't just happen in one go, right?
it sure does not.
It's a
Yep.
progress, it's a process of progress, and the process of falling down, getting back up. You become the person that is able to have that $1 million company or $10 million company. So that's my focus going on, not really measuring um our success is who are we becoming on along the way, because if we become those people that are able to run the company, then the company is going to get there, right? And so you have to walk every day, get better every single day, you work full time and you have a limited amount of time. You get home, you're tired. You're like, oh, well, we got to work on the business. Let me just take a day off. Okay. Okay. All right. A day off may be cool, right? I personally hate taking days off because I know that that's one less day that is stopping me from my goal. What if you were guaranteed, if you worked on this for 3 years, maybe 5 years, but you didn't get any success, any tangible outcome, but on the first day of that fifth year, you would make $10 million. Would you work every single day to do it? Yeah, some people will say yes, but some people say no because they don't want to put in the work and effort. So you have to become the person that's able to put in the work and effort, progress every single day, and and you'll see the results. And that's what me and Carlin are working on. We grinding out here. So after work, after school, yeah, we that's what
Yep,
we're doing.
it doesn't matter. Yeah, and that is such a great point, Ty. One thing that I was always taught, and what I truly believe, like, no one is born a business savant that is destined to be, a billionaire or millionaire, right? Like, it takes practice. It takes developing skill sets, right? Like you may, some people may be naturally born to, have charisma or to be able to, speak better, or their minds are more analytical, whatever is the case. But nobody is born with all those traits, right? A lot of times you've got to work to develop those skills, and there's different resources out there to help you develop those skills if you're willing to, utilize them. But at the end of the day, yes, no one is just like blessed with the ability to run a successful business. No matter who it is, they had to work at it. And like Ty said, I mean, yeah, it's who you become, right? Like you have to become that person in order for your business to become that, successful. So,
Yeah. Yeah, so just focus on becoming the person. And how do you become the person? Because no one's, like Carlos said, no one's born a business Mongol or
yeah.
so how do you
For real.
become the thing I realized is everyone has one life. So you're only seeing through the lens of your own experiences. But you know what the cool thing is? There's different podcasts, there's different books, and literally people are pouring their experiences into those books, into those podcasts. So what I do every single day, I listen to millionaires and billionaires talk on my way to work. And so their thought process, their belief systems are starting to transform mine because my background is not matching where I'm going to go. So I have to transform those things. And, people around you may be like, oh, you're acting different. And, it may go against who you were in the past. But it's, you have to become that person by changing your belief systems, continue becoming the person, taking the steps. And, just I'm reading I'm starting reading books every day, trying to figure out how these business people are growing companies, how they're marketing. Because with our business, a lot of it is really marketing, sales and conversion. So I'm reading a lot of marketing books. And when you first start out, like when I first started marketing for the business, that was my first time marketing really ever. So, and then I look back on my over a year ago in my marketing, I was like, oh, this is trash compared to what I'm doing now. So every step you're doing, you're improving and you're becoming a better person, a better business uh, person. So yeah.
Said.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, Carly, got anything to add to that or?
I mean, really, the last thing that I will add in all this is, Shannon Sharp actually, he said a line that has definitely resonated with me. He said, for whatever goal that you have, what do you have to do to sacrifice in order to reach that goal? And are you willing to sacrifice for it? Right. So, yes, you can have all these goals and dreams. You could want to start your own business, right? But you need to be aware of the sacrifices that are going to be made by you in order to achieve that goal, right? Because nothing great comes without that sacrifice. So
Yeah.
one thing that I did was I wrote down all the stuff that I would need to stop doing, or that I would need to start doing in order to hit where I want to go. And whether that's I got to stop hanging out with friends every week, or whether it's I need to start reading this particular book to help me develop this particular skill. um, yeah, you're gonna need to make those sacrifices in order to get where you want to go. If there was no sacrifices, everybody would be a successful billionaire, millionaire, whatever, right? So
Yeah.
you got to be the one that's willing to do the sacrificing in order to get to that point.
Yeah, and that goes back to your why, your motivation. Like for me, man, when I take a day off, like honestly, there's a pulsing thing in the back of my mind just says, you have to work on this because it's going to work. You can't have a single doubt in your mind that it's not going to work. There's a book called The Power of the Subconscious Mind, and there's a principle of expectancy, and that thing is real. I suggest people go read it. If you have to expect it's going to work. Do not have any doubt in your mind. Of course, there might be doubts, but just know that it's going to work. You put in the work, have the confidence it's going to work. Do your research. Listen to people that have already proven that it worked. And results will come. It just takes time. We can control a couple of things, our mindset and our inputs, but only God controls the outputs and how much time it will take. So just control your inputs, your mindset, your belief in faith, and I promise you'll be better than when you started. So, all right. Well, if Carlin doesn't have anything else,
I'm done.
all right. So we will see you next episode, episode 5. Stay tuned. We got something special for you. So, all right. Well,
All
we'll see
right.
you next week. All
All
right.
right. Later.